Why does Chinese feel so difficult to learn? It's because you're trying to learn it through the lens of your native language. Chinese and English are fundamentally different in grammar, sound, writing, and even the way meaning is constructed. But once you understand the key differences and start thinking in a new way, you will learn faster and more efficiently. Hi, I'm Yu Ting, your Chinese teacher. In this video, I'm going to share 5 essential facts you need to know before learning Chinese. Trust me, understanding these 5 facts will make your Chinese learning journey smoother and more efficient. Whether you are completely beginner or if you already started learning, let's get started. First of all, when we say Chinese, we usually mean Mandarin Chinese, the official language of China, and one of the most spoken language in the world. Chinese is super old, over 3,000 years of written history. It doesn't use an alphabet like English. It uses character. And yes, they look like puzzle, but don't panic. Today we are not diving into 10,000 characters. We're just gonna understand how the system works and how it's actually more logical than it looks. Just like modern English is different from Middle English, modern Chinese is also different from classical Chinese in grammar, pronunciation, and writing. Today, simplified Chinese characters are used in mainland China, while traditional characters are still used in Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. On this channel, I teach simplified Chinese, which is the most widely used writing system in mainland China. Wittgensteinian? Yeah, I don't know if I'm correct. Once said,
"The limits of my language mean the limits of my world."
So, what new ways of thinking could Chinese unlock for you? Let's find out. First up, tones. Yeah, the classic nightmare. In English, we care about spelling. In Chinese, we care about sound and tone. You will use a system called pinyin to spell Chinese using the Roman alphabet. In Mandarin, the tone you use can completely change the meaning of the word. For example, ma could mean mom, hemp, or even scold, depending on the tone. The fix? Just keep in mind that every Chinese character has a tone. Don't rush. You'll master them all in time. Tones are a marathon, not a sprint. The second problem of learning Chinese could be listening, because everything sounds the same. Mandarin has a limited set of syllables, so tens of words sound similar, because much of the variation comes from the tones. For example, shi, 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 all different words. And how to fix this? Each Chinese character corresponds to one syllable, and usually 2 characters combine to form a word with a clear meaning. When you hear those 2 syllables together, it's actually quite easy to understand what the speaker is saying.
Nice.
I will go into more detail in the future videos. Otherwise, this video would get way too long. One thing to keep in mind is that there are many dialects in China, and some of the people speak Mandarin with a little bit regional accents. I recommend focusing on standard Mandarin. Later on, if you're interested in dialects, you can explore them further as your skills improve. Number 3, no verb tenses. Okay, this is a good one. In Chinese, verb don't change at all. I go, I went, I have gone. In Chinese, that's basically all just 我去. Sounds easy? Yes, but it takes a while to stop thinking like an English speaker. Since Chinese characters have fixed form and cannot be altered, changes in tense can't be expressed by modifying the characters by themselves. They can only be shown by adding or removing words. For example, time is conveyed using time words, particles, and a contextual clue, not by changing the verb itself. Chinese grammar is technically simpler than English. No tenses, no verb conjugations, no plurals. but I don't plan to teach much grammar on this channel. Why? Honestly, it's a personal thing. I find grammar kind of boring and sometimes confusing. I truly believe that if your brain gets enough input, it will figure things out naturally. So take it easy. Just keep listening, reading, and enjoying the process. The fourth, characters, not alphabet. I have to say this one is not going to be very easy. The good news, many characters have visual clues. The bad news, you will need to practice reading and writing a lot. But come on, English is not easy for me at the start too. Chinese is a logographic writing system, completely different from the alphabetic system used in English. It requires memorizing a large number of characters, and pronunciation alone is not enough to spell words. Let's take ma as an example again. Several different characters are all pronounced ma. The first ma is a question particle usually put at the end of a sentence. The second ma means mother, and the last one means to wipe. So how do you tell which one someone is talking about? This is something I really see people explain. There are two main ways. First, by looking at the written character itself. Second, by seeing which other characters it combines with to form a word. That's because a single Chinese character can carry a wide range of meanings. In most cases, it's only when one character is combined with another that the meaning becomes clear and specific. Just like X and Y axes work together to define a precise point on the two-dimensional plane. When I was a kid in school, my Chinese teacher had us practice a lot of word formation exercises. There are thousands of Chinese characters. But don't worry too much. Chinese has lots of patterns that make characters easier to remember and write. For example, characters with the grass radical are usually related to plants. And finally, vocabulary and culture. Some Chinese words have no real English equivalent, like 面子, it means face, but it's really about dignity and social respect, or 关系, which is kind of like networking, but much deeper. If you only learn the dictionary meaning, you will totally miss the point. No worries, I will sprinkle in some cultural tips in the future. That's it for today's video. I hope it helped you understand the Chinese language a little better. I'm putting a lot of care into creating high quality content. And your like, subscribe, your feedback truly give me motivation to keep going. To end, here's a quote from Lao Tzu, a Chinese philosopher from 2,500 years ago.
不积跬步，无以至千里。